Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to Live Coffee Talk Show. If you are new to me, I'm Michelle Quay. I'm a visibility confidence coach. Let's just take a breather. So this week, I have this intention to actually take some time off. So I'm wrapping up this week, and hopefully I'm setting myself up for next week. I'm going to take a 5-day vacation. I'm going to go drive around in town and see what's going on. And we're actually heading up to Utah. So I'm super excited about it. And today I have someone that are connected during the pandemic. You know how people said that during the pandemic, you don't really go out that much. So you don't have a lot of chance to meet people and connect with the community. I can tell you that is not true, because my guest today, Eddie Vigil, he is someone I connected during the pandemic. We got on the phone call, and you know me. Those of you who know me, you know that the moment I pick up the phone, I'm like, okay, let's meet up. I'm the kind of person who doesn't say no to a lot of things. So I have him on, but he's not a coach. I know most of you are coaches, but today I'm bringing someone who's not a coach onto the show because I believe that he has something very valuable to share from his past experience, from his current experience, and his position as someone who is on the camera all the time. I know there's a lot that we can talk about. So let me just give you a quick intro about who Eddie is. Eddie Vigil is a director and script supervisor who has produced nearly 70 narrative film projects that ranges from 1 to 30 minutes. And I was actually just checking his YouTube station out. There's a lot of good stuff, so we'll talk about that. While he was living in Reno, Nevada, before making that move to coming to Los Angeles, California. Last year, he produced and released a feature film, It's What's on the Inside. And you want to hear about this because the film is actually about a life coach. And it's a very interesting film. So if you haven't watched it, I want to encourage you to check out on Amazon. You can watch it on Amazon. And I don't know if it's on Netflix. I haven't looked on Netflix. But definitely on Amazon. That's where I found it. So go watch It's What's Inside. So without further ado, I want to bring him on. He's very talkative. He and I can talk for 3 hours. Hi, Eddie.
Hello. Good morning. Good to see you.
You woke up.
Yes. Yeah. It was a late night on set last night, but I am here.
I'm very happy that you are here. So before I go on, tell us about yourself. I know that's like the worst question any podcast host can ask the guest. Tell us about yourself.
Okay. Yes. That is a bad question. No, I'm just kidding. Great. Yeah. No, I thought your intro was really nice. Thank you for all the kind of words. I'm trying to imagine. Okay, about myself. Yes, I am. As you mentioned, I am in Los Angeles, California. I'm a filmmaker. I spend my free time doing my own podcast, having my own conversations, doing a lot of reading, trying to explore the world without having to literally explore the world, and just trying to get some positivity out there and do my best to have fun living life and spending time with people that I enjoy spending time with and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. So I think as I was watching your film, one of the video caught my attention, and it was a video that you were speaking on the stage, and you were talking about collaboration, community, and creativity. What was that about?
Yes, that was a nice little challenge for me. Back in Reno, before I moved, there was this event called Ignite Reno, and it's a nice like free event for the public, and you get 5 minutes to speak about whatever you want at this at this venue. So you sign up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I do not do public speaking whatsoever. Let me just challenge myself with trying to, like, what do I have to offer the community? What can I talk about that I know? And in Reno, I spent a lot of time collaborating with the community in producing these short films that you had mentioned in the intro. Where like every month I was wrangling people together to just create and have fun and make some stuff and learn the process and so when I did this 5 minutes, that was what I centered around, was the positive effects of pushing for this collaboration within the community. I felt, I don't know, I just witnessed too many people have too much fun over an extended period of time to be like, we gotta emphasize creativity amongst everybody, give everybody a creative outlet, give everybody a chance to express themselves and work together and learn that process. And it was a scary experience, but I thought I did a pretty good job. I really enjoyed getting up there. I should probably do it more often.
Would you? That's my next question. Would you want to do it again?
Yeah, let's do it. I've always dreamed about hosting like a TED Talk or something. Do a little, yeah.
I'm there. I'm your guest speaker.
Yeah. Yes.
So you mentioned creativity a couple of times. Did you always know that you were gonna be a director and script supervisor? Well, first of all, what's a script supervisor?
Okay.
Because not everyone understands. I mean, you explained it to me, so I do. But what's a script supervisor?
Yeah. So that's kind of like all right. So I've moved to LA. There's the dream is directing. So I produce stuff and make stuff on the side. I mostly get by freelancing as a script supervisor, which, like you said, is an obscure position for many people. I manage the continuity of the film, so I'm often sitting right next to the directors of these projects, and when they're watching for the performance, I have the script in my hand, and I'm just making sure that what is on the script is actually being captured in the camera. So are the actors saying their lines right? Are all of our angles going to match and be able to be cut in the edit? Like, which hand did they pick up the coffee cup with? When did they sit down? So that way when you go in for the close-up, they're, for the most part, doing the same action, and you can actually cut between the two shots. So it's a little bit of the nitty-gritty of the focus of just kind of having the director's back, being a support player, and helping somebody else's vision come to life and take some burden off of them, so that way the project can work.
Mm-hmm. So how did you? Was that something that you always wanted to do, or did you?
Right. Script supervising, I didn't discover this position until like a few years ago. So even when I was making films in Reno, it was normally smaller productions where this position did not exist, and I wasn't familiar with it until I got into a bigger space. And I was like, oh, what's that person do? Hey, who are you? And what is this? And I had the opportunity to kind of almost like pseudo understudy and just listen and watch. And I got to try my hand at it. And I feel like it's a very good fit for my personality. But as far as directing, I initially had dreamed about being the face in front of the camera and being the actor, because when you watch movies, that's traditionally what you think about, like growing up. It's like, oh, that's the, like, I love movies. Oh my gosh, it'd be awesome to be Spider-Man. Like, let me just go for that. But through the exploration process, I have found that I actually have a lot more fun on the other side of the camera, being the one that brings the people together and helps communicate a vision, and giving everybody else a chance to step up and showcase their skill set under this collaborative guided process.
Sounds like a coach.
Yes, that's very similar, which is I'm sure why I'm here. I don't know.
Yeah, which is why you're here. Very similar to what coaches do, because a lot of time it's about the client's dream and vision, and we're helping them, guiding them to make their dream and reality. So it sounds very similar. So I'm curious, because as I was watching all your production, your videos, and last year I wanted to bring back the film. It's What's Inside.
It's What's on the Inside.
See, I always mess it up. Thank you. It's What's on the Inside, and it's a film about life coach. Well, the main actress is her role is an actress, and the story took place. The film was shot during 2020.
It was shot. No, I guess to clarify, it was shot in 2019.
Okay.
I went through the post-production process. Luckily, it kind of worked. I don't know. It kind of worked out that I had the time to finish the movie during lockdown and whatnot. But it's this very like claustrophobic, agoraphobic story where a person's stuck in their house due to their anxiety, and she utilizes her delivery guy and her own clients kind of help guide her through the process of making it back into the world, which kind of worked out in a way of like when this movie was done, a lot of people had been through a similar experience of being stuck in their house and trying to find a way out through this anxiety-ridden world we exist in.
I thought the timing was perfect, because when the film was actually featured earlier in April, right? It was in April this year. It was featured. And what I noticed was it was perfect description of what had happened in 2020. People were being trapped inside. You don't go to anywhere. So there's a lot of good things about that film. I highly recommend to watch it.
Yeah, no, unfortunately it worked out. But I mean, fortunately it worked out. Unfortunately, we all had to go through it for it to work out. But it was very interesting for me to explore the idea of of that anxiety of wanting to be something and having a very difficult time powering through and becoming that kind of person. And I also find it very interesting how easy it is in the world currently to shut yourself out from everybody and from everything and have zero human contact. And it's almost kind of encouraged at this point to kind of do that, which is weird. But in the movie, she's doing it to herself. Yeah.
I think one of the highlights, just from what we talked about earlier, how you were thinking, watching the movie, and wow, that's a Superman. I want to be Superman. Or I want to be Spider-Man.
Sure.
But then that kind of transition into behind the camera. And now that you are behind the camera, helping those who want to make it to the big screen, what are some of the challenges that you notice for people who wanted to get out and just to be seen?
Well, I mean, this is even just from any creative position whatsoever. Because like I said, I've done coordinating of bringing creatives together to make stuff for many years now, and it's almost like regardless of it's in front of the camera or behind the camera, I talk to a lot of people that do voice that they want to either be in the industry, or they want to act, or they want to do this, or they want to do that. And then even when given the opportunity, a lot of people, I don't know how to quite address this specifically, but have tendencies to shy away from the experience when it is presented to them. And it's very difficult to, like, all I can do is be like, I know, I appreciate what you want to do, and I want to help get you there. Here's an opportunity. I can only present the opportunity. That person therefore has to, accept it and then show up and do the work. And it is very, intimidating to have to, I don't know, show up and chase your dream is hard. And the fear of failure does, I feel, prevent a lot of people from even taking advantage of the opportunity. As small as it may be, it's like, hey, we're just hanging out, and this is like a fun, small thing. And it just, it gives us an opportunity to work with each other and feel this out. And not many people actually take advantage of such opportunities, which is weird. And but that's very common. That's like, yeah, it's weird.
So what do you look for when you look for people and offering these opportunities?
What do I look for? I'm a big fan of, I don't know, I look for that I don't know, authenticity is big for me. Like I just like to, it's like an energy thing too. It's like, all right, I can tell whether a person is really, like, I have to believe what a person is saying to me. Like I have to believe in who they are and what they're doing. And it's I don't know, it's hard to explain, but there's something there, and the authenticity is a big part of it. I don't have a better answer for that.
Come on, Eddie, you can do better than that.
What? Yeah, I'll think about it.
What's your definition of authenticity then?
Okay, let's think.
That's the.
All right, so let's say we can talk about actors specifically, I guess, for a second. Let's just say I'm a director, and I am meeting with you who are an actor, and I prefer. You can tell when somebody is just talking to you because they want something, or they're talking to you, and I don't know. Okay, I'm losing track of what I'm looking for here. But ask me another question. I'm losing focus. I didn't have much sleep last night.
Well, okay. So speaking of lack of sleep, tell us where you are. Like, what are you doing right now?
Currently, I am in my kitchen of this.
No, I mean like
of this.
What are you making? Give us a sneak peek. Don't tell us everything because I do want to, watch the film. So just give us a sneak peek of what are you working on?
All right. So as you mentioned, It's What's on the Inside was my feature film debut. I went to New Mexico in May of this year to shoot my follow-up feature film. That one's called Trauma Days. Shot that in my hometown that I grew up in. Until I was in second grade, went back to it. It's a 1,000-person village, and that one is about a couple that have a weekend getaway from the city, and they are there to try to figure out if they're ready to move their relationship to the next level of moving in together. And the small town has this little bit of a Twilight Zone effect where time moves differently in the small town versus the hustle bustle of getting things done in the city. So exploring, living in the moment, and collaborating with your partner to really solve these human relationship interactions here.
When is that one coming out?
That's a good question. That's I just had the opportunity to review the first initial rough cut of the film this last weekend, and I'm very excited about this one. But I imagine it's still months away from being completed. Still have to chat with my composer, get the score made, and go through all the whole process of coloring and editing all that sound and all that kind of stuff. But I'm hoping that'll come out next year and premiere some film festivals. That's the goal on this one. But living in the moment is the big message of this next movie.
Hey, so should I start sending you my mailing address in case you want to send me Oscar VIP tickets,
Right, the invite. Yes, of course.
Yeah, the invite, like front row seat, all right?
Yes.
Front row seat.
You're on the list, don't you worry.
Okay, cool. So anyway, I'm like, I don't know. I think I've known you for so long now, and like a lot of you're such a person with vision. So as you're talking about all your project, as you're making all these movies, do you how does it work? Do you have the project vision how it's successful already, or does the pieces come in as they go?
I make films in, I don't know. I'm trying to work on my process of how to create my projects. As of right now, I very much piecemeal a story together based on what I'm trying to accomplish at the time. So, for instance, with It's What's on the Inside, the idea was, okay, I just moved to Los Angeles. What ingredients do I have to play with in order to accomplish my goal? So, I knew I had access to an apartment. I knew an actor that was willing to put the work in to play such a role, and yeah, it was very limited in certain capacities. So I was like, all right, we gotta contain the story. What kind of story can we tell? And then with the New Mexico one, I was like, okay, it's a similar thing. As I have a bunch of friends that are down to make a movie because we've been desperate to create, and we've been starved through this through the pandemic with not being allowed to go out and collaborate. So um, it was, we have this small town to film in. We have locations there, and we have these actors that are down. So what kind of story can we pull from these circumstances? And that usually drives decisions on where to start. And then it's just like a weird. It's just super weird how it goes from there. Of just like ideas from this person, ideas from here, this, and just day to day, the evolution of a story is a weird thing that's hard to track when you look back on it. And then I'm working on another one right now to get my third one off the ground, which is like a rom-com following a couple that it's an arranged marriage rom-com. So it's a Korean American guy and an Indian American gal, and who kind of fall head over heels for each other, and then realize after an engagement has happened that their parents were behind the whole thing and set it up, and it's kind of some nice
Yeah,
hijinks there.
that's
But
interesting.
but it's like I don't know how these things start. It's just we end up somewhere and we're just going, and it's fun.
And then, so where do these story come from? Do you just like they just come to you, or where do you
Uh,
find your inspiration?
yeah, with the rom com. I know that one came from my writing partner, Jamie Keener. She like we are a new partnership, so she's
Mhm.
written plenty of stuff before I came into the picture. So we were just kind of reviewing stories that she had, and she's Korean American, and was very curious to see the stories that she was telling on her own. And I'm like, oh, we you kind of reference these interactions kind of like with her mother a lot, on like
Mhm.
the push for, you know, getting married and finding a man, and you can't be happy without a man, and all these kind of messages. And I'm like, well, I'm very curious to explore um, like traditionally in rom-coms, oh sorry, traditionally when you see uh, what's arranged marriages in like movies and stuff, it's always from the Western view of like, I want to pick for my own, stay out of my
Mhm.
life, and they're very much included in the process of finding the partner. But
Mhm.
I wanted to take another more subtle approach to maybe a newer version of what that could look like. And that was just like the beginning seed of that. With all right, this is something that you've written that sparks what I would like to see that I haven't seen before. So that
Mhm.
usually helps with getting some stuff going. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't really know where they come from. Consciousness is weird.
Consciousness is weird. Well, I'm curious why you say that. Why is that? You know
Well,
that's gonna come, right? You're like, why do you
yeah.
think consciousness is weird?
Well, I mean, you shared that book with me. I read The Pilgrimage because of you, and he references consciousness a lot in that book. And that's been in the back of my mind a lot since I read it too, with just like being really aware of these thoughts that are cycling through your head at all times. And I think about that when I'm creating too, is like I'll sit at my laptop writing a story, and I try to become as aware as possible of these ideas that are filtering through my head. And I even like think about it like this little monitor that I'm looking at in my forethought, where it's like, all right, there's an idea, bad, swipe, 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 and you can kind of learn to swipe the ideas away. And then like just new stuff keeps funneling into it, and eventually something funnels into that thing that's like, oh wow, there's something let's use that. But it's like, who knows how that works. It's just a muscle that I feel like it's a muscle that is being trained to help cycle through quicker on the creative idea stuff. But
so
I
how
trust it.
do you decide which creative idea is useful and which creative idea is just, it's not going to work or it's a waste? How do you decide on that?
It's a weird thing. I mean, that's the whole. It's very akin, if you will, to finding out who you are as a person, right? Like that self exploration of who am I, what do I bring to this world, and how does my perspective differ from somebody else's, and what makes me unique, and what do I like? So first and foremost, I'm thinking through that lens of, is it funny to me? Is this wacky to me? Is this weird? Does this make me chuckle? Is this does this pull my heartstrings? And if you get that emotion from the idea, then you're like, all right, I got something here, because it's just the development of your own taste. So that's what I've been working on for years, is trying to sharpen the specificity of what I offer and what's unique to my taste. But yeah, normally if it pulls some sort of emotion out, and I feel like I can do it in a way that's unique to me, then it's very exciting.
Yeah. I think one of the common thing between you and I is our work. Our work is not just about doing it for ourselves. Our work is meant to impact others. So making movie, it's about impacting the viewer or the audience, and giving them not just the entertainment, but also something else, a hidden message or whatever that you want to translate across to the audience. So as a coach, it's also about not just, oh, this is going to help me with my business and this is going to help my visibility. It's actually creating like a ripple effect so that we can spread it out to other people and to raise that consciousness. So I know I probably have asked you this question because I encourage you to work on your public speaking skills so that you can be on Oprah. We talked about this.
Of course. Is Oprah still doing her show, or is that
Oprah
still
is
a
definitely
thing?
still doing her show.
Okay, I haven't seen it lately.
So you gotta practice, and we gotta set you up
Yeah, I'm very excited.
to your success. So before I ask, there's a question from the audience that I wanted to ask, but I also before we do that, let me just ask you this: what impact do you want to bring for others who's watching your movie?
Yeah. The impact I'm always trying to make is I don't know. I always am looking to bring some light and some humor and some nice subtle bits of self-reflection in a positive way. Like I want to make people feel happy. I want to give people a nice little laugh. Like my laughs are normally not the big comedic laugh out loud stuff. It's more of like the internal self, maybe like nose sniffle laugh, where it's like a weird awkward I don't know,
Chuckle.
weird awkward chuckle. But I'm here to not I don't like. I've had a lot of thought on that too lately. I don't really like the idea of distraction from the world, but like a new way of reflecting on the world and detracting from somebody's anxiety. Like that's what it's what's on the inside. It's about is there's hope and we can and it's all scary and we're all going through stuff. So not to be too hard on yourself. Ooh, what was that? Was that? Yeah.
That's my cat making a mess right now. But we do have a question from the audience. Amy asks, "Do you see your career as a director as an expression of how you direct your own life, seeing your life through the creative lens?"
Okay. So what was the first part of that again?
Do you see your career
Okay.
as a director as an expression of how you direct your own life, seeing your life through the creative lens?
That's an interesting question. Gee. Wow. That's a big question. Wowza. I don't know. It's directing my own life. That's that's a whole thing on its own for sure. I don't know how. I mean, I suppose that is a good way of looking at it, where what I guess what I present, like I'm pulling from my own experiences all the time in order to be able to funnel an experience into a moment on screen. So I think the answer is like yes, in a way, where I live my life a certain way, and then kind of just by the way that things work is I'm pulling from either the best parts of me or the worst parts of me, or not that there's bad parts of me, but um, and really putting that either into characters, and it's a very therapeutic process to really translate who I am into the messages, into the characters. So it is 100% yes, I guess, is the answer to that. For sure, that's
Eddie just went
everything.
around, just went around circle to answer yes. I do feel that as I was watching, it's what's on the inside. I do feel knowing you, and I know your values. It does translate all your values through the step that you're making,
Yeah,
and
no, it
so
makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, so I think in a way, no matter what films that you're making, all these personal value, your character, your attributes, they do come across in the way that you're writing your script or arranging how the person is picking up the coffee mug, what type of coffee mug. A lot of it has to do with your own personal values and your
Hmm.
personal characteristics.
Yeah, no, I agree that, yeah, 100% for sure. It's weird. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to have, yeah, like you mentioned, the multi-layered effect that this could have on people with not just providing entertainment, but to be sending people home with a message. It's a weird responsibility in a way of what am I taking this opportunity to say. It's all very, very weird.
It's
Very cool.
actually a big responsibility.
Hmm.
You are responsible for making sure that the world see and feel the values that you want people to feel.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that's
So
very
we can go
nice.
on. We can go on
Sure.
this for like the next 3 hours, but I do want to respect your time. You have a podcast, right? And I
Yes,
was on. Yeah. Tell
yes.
us about your podcast.
Yes, my podcast is the Eddie Conversation podcast that was born through the pandemic. Um, I People always ask me like, "What's it about?" And I'm like, it's just me talking to people, man." Just kidding. um, No, the objective for me was I was craving human interaction and extended conversation, more nuanced talk versus just the bam 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 surface level stuff. So it was a nice excuse to get people on and talk more about other aspects of their lives versus the standard surface level things that most people get to talk about in the more short format. So they're only 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I think we have one, you and I, where we chatted for like, I don't know, almost 3 hours. Not 4 hours, no.
It was
no,
4 hours.
Well, for us, it was 4 hours. Yeah, no, I've had you on twice. So yeah, check out the episodes with Michelle Quay and others.
Yes. So
No,
where can people find
very
you?
fun.
Where can we
My
find you?
website, eddievhillv.com is a good place. It's a nice catch-all for finding there's links, there's information on the movies that I've made, there's links to some of my latest short films, the podcast is there, and then the homepage kind of showcases my resume for the work that I do. But yeah, you can follow me on Instagram as well if you want to check out my cool photos and stuff. Eddie V Hill V is my handle.
Very cool stuff. I've been a diehard fan. I
Yes,
love
thank
watching
you.
the stories that you take from the set.
Oh, right. No, it's always
Yeah,
fun to
those are fun
showcase
to
some of the
watch.
behind the scenes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, any last word for the audience?
No, thank you for tuning in. No, thanks for watching. Hope it's very interesting that you normally have coaches on here. Like I've always dreamed about being a coach, but I mean, like you said, I'm doing the same thing anyway, just in my own way. But I'm a big fan of a lot of people need that support. So I think it's great work. And cheers, everybody. Good morning.
Cheers. Good morning. I know
Yeah.
you probably wanted to get some sleep or take a nap before
Yeah,
you go up to
I
the
might go
set.
back and take a nap. We'll see what happens.
All right, Eddie. I'm gonna put you to the backstage so I can wrap up the show.
Okay.
Okay, everybody, welcome. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoy watching this show, and hopefully you learn more about Eddie and his movies. Be sure to check out on Amazon on his feature film, It's What's on the Inside, and pay attention and just follow him on Instagram. And because he got a lot of amazing things that's coming, just go and follow him. All right. So join me next week for another episode, and I will see everyone next week. Bye. Adios.